Very much. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well. Thank you for having me today. As just mentioned, I joined the Telegraph about 5 months ago, so I'm still sort of relatively new to it, to head up the video operation there and to move us forward in where we already are with video. For today, I was asked to present on how to build a strategic roadmap for video, but there are so many variants, so many considerations, and so many different types of publishers. There's not really a one-rule-fits-all solution to this. So what I thought I'd do is take you through our thought process and the questions we've asked at the Telegraph that has led us to our strategy moving forward. I'm sure these are some figures you're all familiar with. That what is the video opportunity? That's what we first asked. It's been a big subject for the last few years, with opportunities and revenues figures being bandied around all over the place, that video is going to be the golden goose. It's going to be big on mobile. It's going to catch up with TV ad spends. It's going to deliver the most traffic online and have the largest growth rates. So like everybody else, we probably looked at that and thought, yeah, we'd like a piece of that. What do we do? This is the statement, the challenge that we have set ourselves out to solve. Video is a great editorial device for audiences, and it appeals to advertisers. But how does a publisher maximize the medium editorially and commercially? So not just revenues, but actually deliver a tangible ROI. We begun by looking at the overall video market and asking some key questions to help shape where we wanted to go. Again, echoing actually what Hannah was talking about, I think if you can't just dip your toe into video. It's not cheap. It needs some investment. You've got to really dive in there, which is always a consideration. So these are the questions we set out to make sense of, hopefully with a positive outcome of moving forward. So does our brand have authority in the market? We're 160 years old this year, one of the UK's biggest publishers. So we're quite lucky that I think it's safe to say we do have authority in the market. Our existing audience online, we've got 30 million plus, I think that's increasing month on month at the moment, on the website, and our video audience is already at 12 million plus. So there is a core audience there looking at videos of how we currently present them. So it's about exploring what we could do next. We've got a great sales team with established relationships with agencies and brands. So looking at whether it's ad networks or sponsorship opportunities, native opportunities, we're in that space already. And again, you know, it's video production, it's editorial, it's technology, it's insights, and it's commercial. It's all of these things together. So did we have people in place, and could we dynamically upscale if we got it right? We looked at it as a group as well, so Telegraph Media Group, and how video could tie into other strategies. So whether it's our events company, whether it's our marketing team, our commercial offering. Could video not just be a publishing tool, but actually a business growth tool? I said, you know, did we have the talent already in place across all of those key areas, production, editorial, sales, and technology, which we did. And will we offer something unique in the market? Like every publisher, we've got our own audience, we've got our own take on the news and storytelling, and as long as video could match that for our audience, then we could offer a unique take. And the key one, what would success look like? Would it be just online views? Would it be just revenue? Is it brand enhancement? Or would it actually be commercial ROI? So we could generally have a positive response to most of those questions, which led to the next question: what are people watching online, and why are they sharing it? To realise the full potential, we really needed to understand this and produce the content that our audience wanted to consume and that met our brand standards and quality. So people are watching because it's emotive, it's informational, they identify with it, or because they're bored. And that's kind of a similar reason to why they share it as well. It's to be social, express how they're feeling, often just to show off and make people laugh as well. So it's quite emotive reasons why people watch and share video. But it just so happens that if you nail down on those, there are actual tangible structures and formats and videos that you can produce to deliver on those things. So it's important to understand the types of format to ensure that we publish the appropriate type of content in video. Clicker. What devices were videos being watched on? Grasping this was really important for a few reasons. The commissioning impact. We would need to make the right content for the right platform, and with that, the anatomy of the video could be dictated by the device it was being watched on. Commercially, the platform views would impact on a sales strategy, whether it was working with networks or brands direct. So could commercials be as successful on mobile as they were desktop? So we need to take all those considerations. And product-wise, the product roadmap would need to be taken into consideration as well, of if we were to build out our technology infrastructure, where do we focus our energies? As you can see, traditional laptops and desktops lead the way at the moment, but smartphones were catching up. So we took a deeper look into how video was being consumed on mobile. without going into too much detail in analytics, it's probably widely accepted that mobile viewing is on the way up, but how were these views being consumed? Videos were actually being watched via specific content provider apps, so not necessarily through search and social, but because the audiences knew the brands and wanted to watch and consume content within those spaces. So that was an interesting area. It was also supported that users were watching through apps generally, not just mobile web. So from understanding that, the technology and how we presented content on a platform was important to get a grip on. And also was great is because it's your own publisher environment, the commercials and opportunities were much higher rather than having to rev share with other third-party platforms. As a commercial company, and given the event is called Monetising Media, it's probably useful to explore where the ad spend is in video. Consumer and lifestyle content was driving ad spend from travel to shopping, retail, entertainment, which is interesting. The Telegraph is a top news producer with excellent content across a wide range of strands, channels, verticals. But one thing we didn't do was produce content or much content across these lifestyle areas in video. So we weren't actually really publishing the right video in the right space where advertisers were spending money. So understanding this would help steer the content that we wanted to make going forward. Not only did we need to understand where the video spend was going, but also the type of advertising it was going on and how we could leverage that content even further. So as well as traditional display, we wanted to be able to monetize third parties and offline as well. So these are some of the areas that we looked at. Looking at reward versus efforts, there appeared a few ways. So there's the traditional display, which is here now. It's got decent revenues through pre-roll, MPU, in-read. But in a world of ad blockers, of programmatic coming in, how sustainable is this area? It's only one part. Syndication and licensing is an interesting area. So monetizing your content off-site, putting it out in the world, not cannibalizing your own audience. But if you own your content, then you can take a rev share elsewhere. Paywalls. The successes, there's pros and cons to paywalls. But I think one key thing is if you're going to put a paywall in front of people, the content needs to be premium, it needs to be exclusive, really, really great. And then the native sponsorship branded content, that's the exciting one. I'm sure it's a common belief that editorially relevant content that brands can have an affinity with could offer a great opportunity for publishers. I've also included white label on there. So if publishers are doing this day in, day out for themselves and are experts in this field, can that become a business line, a revenue stream in its own right? And you do that for third parties. Although that does actually go back to the questions we asked in the first place about the right to play. Do we have the talent, the audience, the technology and sales infrastructure to do that going forward, or for any of these? So having asked some of the questions and gained a bit more of an insight, it turns out we're still really keen on video and wanted to crack this opportunity. Apologies for the amount of text on the screen. We wanted to dive into video a bit more, so we would need content. So we looked at where we could get content from, the different types of content. It turns out there are quite a few ways, so I won't go through all the points, but I'll just pick out the highlights. So we could produce content in-house with our own editorial team, which gives us freedom, editorial control, keeps the IQ within the building, and offers lots of revenue streams as we do own it 100%. But there's a Kpis cost up front, there's a consistent OpEx cost. You could commission externally, so work with third-party production companies, get those costs, that management off-site, but then you're looking at probably a 20% upwards margin for all of those videos that you commission. Licensing or using third-party feeds is great. It's relatively accessible cost, it's scalable, you don't necessarily have to rev share on it, but it's existing content, it's on other places. Does it compromise your brand and the highlight that you are a video destination? The same for syndication, probably even lower cost. Often it's actually free, so you can bring videos in, but it's not necessarily your video. It's been seen elsewhere. There's some great technology solutions out there at the moment that just using text can turn into videos. So for some publishers, really accessible, very cost-effective, very scalable, very fast. Back to that brand identity and premium quality content where I think most of the revenue wins are. Does it deliver against that side? And embedding could be the same as well. You can populate your pages with videos. Does it necessarily mean you're a destination for video is probably a different question. So each have the pros and cons, and they're not actually mutually exclusive. You can have a hybrid of all of these elements, which all have their some really strong areas. So we knew where to get video from, how to get our hands on it, but how do we present it? Again, there are a few ways, and again, they're not mutually exclusive. There's hero content, which is your big one-off, viral-reliant spikes of content, which is useful for marketing and driving awareness, probably on the more expensive end. There's there's hub content, which is regular, consistent, quality content to slowly but surely grow your audience and create a rich video experience for your users. I think this is a great option for publishers, and especially establishing yourself in the video space and being a destination for users. And hygiene content as well, which is more evergreen. It's searchable, it's got a long tail, you can monetize off-site. This probably offers a decent ROI over a long term, especially with the licensing and syndication options around it. So each of these packages also delivers on why users watch and share video. It's emotive, it's informational, and it's identifiable as well. So how can we integrate video? Having video and publishing video is only part of the challenge. We would need it to become part of the Telegraph DNA to truly be seen as an editorial product that delivers on the Telegraph editorial values. We would need to align video content with commercial opportunities, and we would need to integrate the video into the fabric of our outputs and culture. So editorially, the video content should match our other content, whether it's across print or digital. The video team, we embed it with the news conferences, so every day, multiple times, all of the news areas get together. Video is part of that, so it's always part of the storytelling output. Do we look at embedding a specific video skill set personnel on every desk? So whether that's news, sport, politics, beauty, fashion, food, does each desk have a specific video person to maximize this? And how can we optimize video on the homepage? So when people come to the site, they see that video is part of what we offer, and it's a core offering. So we could do that. Commercially, we need to have a clear business model, so we actually really understand what video generates, how much it costs, what the ROI is. And we need to ensure that commercial and editorial are talking to each other, that monetizable opportunities are within the creative whilst keeping our editorial quality. New ad formats as well. As video expands, as new ad formats exist, is the commercial team set up for selling those? Is there space in the market? And is it underpinned by the technology as well? Can we actually serve those advertising solutions? And culturally, the video desk at the Telegraph is bang in the middle of the news floor of the 400 or 500 journalists. We're not elsewhere in the building. We're seen front and center with the rest of the content output. And as you mentioned, if you're going to dive into video, you can't just dip a toe, you've got to go in fully. And we're lucky that our senior management has put a real strategic focus on video. So everybody across the business understands that video is key and to consider it in all parts of what we're doing. And the reporting as well, so insights and analytics is key, not just from a commissioning output, seeing whether you're doing things right, but from reporting to clients, as well as internally as well. So if people are getting daily reports of what's worked, what hasn't, if video stats are clustered with the same as print or digital, it becomes part of the culture. Without getting ahead of ourselves, as I say, only been 5 months and we're working on this plan, we want to look at how we can optimize video once we're up and running. So once there's a real viable product, what can we do to optimize the positions? Quite easy effort is cross-promote more videos. So whether it's your own technology, whether it's bringing in third-party solutions to cross-promote relevant videos. Optimize on the homepage, whether it's a fixed video position, whether it's one article with a video above the fold, whether it's two. What can we do to increase visibility of video on the site? And again, still continuing that support from the senior management and strategic focus. A bit more effort, but still doable, is work really closely with the social platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, search and SEO as well, so that everything's complementing each other. In a world where so much video content is consumed on social platforms, we need to be able to work and do the right thing with that. The other thing is make more videos. If you've got something that actually works, you've got an audience, can you put that dial up and increase your output? A bit more effort is a video home. So the way that consumers look at magazines, newspapers, websites, TV platforms, because it's enjoyable. They're watching and consuming content in an enjoyable way. Video should be the same. It shouldn't just be a second bolt-on that's embedded in an article. Could we create a fantastic video home and experience to really bring that to life? And again, as I mentioned in the last slide, do we integrate specific personnel on each of the desks to give more control and increase output on those desks? And new ad formats. Keep exploring what's possible and what's happening out there in the market. So I've run through why we looked at video and the considerations and questions we made. Based on that, this is what we're looking to roll out in 2016. So at a glance, we're going to reimagine how video is produced and published at the Telegraph. So we're going to produce video. We're going to deliver the right content for the right audiences. So that's the content that our audience wants to watch and that our advertisers are looking to serve inventory against. And this will be in a variety of video formats as well. So whether it's third-party feeds, breaking news, whether it's harnessing our own talent, whether it's series-based lifestyle content, we'll deliver against each of those to ensure that it's a really rich experience on video. And we'll own more video. I say we'll still work with partners, but we'll have a higher percentage of owned content so we can leverage that across other revenue streams. Host video in the right way. As I mentioned, it should be a really enjoyable experience to watch video, not feel like a bolt-on. So we will be rolling out a video-specific platform to a destination where people can watch video rather than just sort of stumble across it. And we'll manage video appropriately as well. It might sound fairly obvious, but a digital asset management is key to be able to realize all of these things. So we're going to have a technology refresh. So we can serve content across our own platforms, but also deliver to third parties, super serve commercial clients as well. So with all of those three things working, we can monetize video much more effectively and discover those new revenue streams that I mentioned previously. And again, the sharing video, the social strategy, we'll work in tandem with that. We won't sort of shut it off. Leveraging our content on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, across every other new platform to ensure that they can work together. And everything at the heart is scale as well. So we'll know what we're making, why we're making it, how much it costs, and how much it brings in, and how we can turn the dial up on that and replicate it and increase it and scale it going forward. So what does this look like? As I mentioned, this is for 2016. Sadly, I don't actually have anything finalized to show you. But technology will not look like a load of drives in a cupboard. It'll be a slick digital asset management system, allowing us to leverage content across a range of revenue streams. Content-wise, as well as working with news content providers and licensing newsworthy videos, we will produce a far greater amount of Telegraph 100% owned content, not only in news, but in lifestyle and non-agenda channels. We have a news studio right in our newsroom, and we're not looking to do the 9 o'clock news or repeat TV viewing, but it gives us the opportunity to, when there's a breaking story, use our talents, have a quick comment on what's happening in the news and become a video destination that supplies online-specific video. The platform, we've already begun work on a bespoke hub where the user's experience will be enjoyable and relevant to video. So big images, related contents, relevant recommendation, series-based content. It'll also offer greater commercial opportunities and more new ad formats and sponsorship opportunities across all platforms. So with ad blocking and things like that, we need to find a way that's different from just pre-rolls. Diving a little deeper into the video content itself, we'll productize news. So whether it's exclusive video-led journalism, where that is the story. I mentioned we've got our own studio. If there's breaking news, we can respond immediately. So I think that was off the back of the Bangkok bombings recently. We could get our travel editor to give a soundbite, give the audience interpretations of what's happening, and get it up and live in about 20 minutes or so. We'll do explainer videos, which have that long tail. It's syndicatable, and it's a bit more evergreen. And we'll still keep on track with the social trends, but add our Telegraph spin on it as well, so it's still relevant for our audience and just takes that existing content on another step. We'll produce series-based lifestyle content, so the non-agenda across those lifestyle areas where advertisers are spending. These are maybe some of the series we're doing, ones we're looking at the moment, but 8-part series, so consistent quality publishing where users know that this is happening and they're curated all in the same place. And we'll also continue with hero content, which is just great stories, great video, great journalism, because it's essential that the Telegraph still does that. All of this can be monetized effectively across a range of revenue streams, so display, sponsorship, syndication, and licensing, as that ownership part of it really unlocks those opportunities. Sorry, my clip art skills aren't the best, so please forgive that. We then aim to use this expertise to produce content for advertiser and online campaigns, as well as commercial clients. So by owning our own content, it will highlight that we take video very seriously, and that it has to match the Telegraph quality content and output. This content will drive an audience across a range of platforms, so online Telegraph, but also across our social platforms. And when advertisers are looking for inventory, they're looking for a specific audience and relevant content. So the Telegraph will be able to provide this, illustrate we do this day in, day out for video for ourselves, and therefore can do it successfully for clients and brands. So with all three of these cogs working together, video becomes a really, truly editorially and commercially viable product. Just quickly to sort of finalise and wrap up, I want to touch on how the industry can help as a whole, help video growth. Because you can have the best publishing strategy, the best video strategy in the world. There's still some areas where I think we could all work together to be able to push things forward. So, insights and analytics. We need recognised metrics that are more than just views that are requested by the market. So, retention rates, click-through rates, brand immersion. It's the quality of the views, not just the quantity. And ideally, one common tool that can report all of that industry-wide. Advertising. I say better quality ads, but more relevant online ads. Different duration lengths without that affecting necessarily the commercials. Ad blocking will be an issue going forward, but if ads can become less intrusive, more relevant, and of a higher quality, both editorially and technically as well, maybe consumers won't feel they need to block them. And off-site views. In a world where content is consumed across a whole host of platforms, publisher seal of approval and association is as important across third-party platforms. So the publisher's brand and where the video is being published under that umbrella needs to be more widely accepted to deliver on campaigns. And that brings me to a conclusion. So thank you very much for your time.
In terms of what people watch and what people share, have you found any particular sort of trend that you could share with us in terms of maybe particular topics or like the format of the videos? So
as I mentioned, we're still predominantly a news output. We haven't really touched into the lifestyle areas yet, and so we're really, really closely tied to news spikes. So where you see a spike in news contents, video will be with it, and that will most likely get the shares. The lifestyle side of things is probably less shareable. How-tos, unless it's really sort of amazing content, it's more personal. So we don't envisage the lifestyle how-to type content being shareable, but still the news content, the breaking content news, that's where we're seeing the success at the moment socially.
So do you think it's about being the first to know in your circle of friends? It's something that plays a big factor in it?
Certainly. The reason people watch and the reason they share is sometimes we've all got a bit of an ego somewhere, like to share, like to be the first thing there, and the same for publishers. It's a bit of a race to get to that first content, to get that content first, publish it, and it's the same for the audience as well.
Hello. What are you thinking on posting videos directly on Facebook in the Facebook player?
So we do that. We started doing that June time, and we've seen views go up in the native player from around 1.5 million to 7.5, 8 million in those 4 short months. It seems a necessary evil at the moment, but we are seeing a decent conversion from Facebook back to the site. So what we do is publish the Telegraph article first, and then 90 minutes later we'll publish it natively to Facebook. So hopefully we can serve both audiences.
I'm just, how is video particularly performing in that context?
I haven't got the stats off the top of my head of how it's performing to text. I mean, video takes up, we probably publish maybe 20% of our Facebook posts might be video. So it will be relevant to that in some way.
Explainer journalism. I was wondering for the Telegraph, how do its explainer news videos fare when compared to the other types of videos, such as like the breaking news, video-led journalism, and so on and so forth?
So they do quite well for us. So I guess where BuzzFeed has sort of listicles and things like this, where can explainer videos for the Telegraph come in? I mean, as I say, we've got sort of 400 or 500 journalists on our floor, so we're lucky that we can take a story that's happening. We've got our news report, but we can then complement that with breakdowns with the reporters, with people off the desks. We've got a whole team of comments, so with columns who talk about what's going on. So we can access that talent and then break it down for the audience using that. And then we format that in a variety of ways. We've got things like in 60 seconds, 5 key stats, by numbers. So without kind of calling them lists, there are explainers, but we use our own talent and put the Telegraph spin on it.
Okay, thanks. So in terms of like the share, like would you say that the core of the videos or the core of your hits still go to the breaking news and and the other sorts, rather than the explainer videos?
At the moment, that's probably fair to say, yes. We are very closely tied in with news spikes, and that's where a lot of traffic would be. But then we'll use those traffic generators to push users into other directions. So the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather fight recently, loads of traffic in from that, but then we could use that traffic to push into the explainers. So you know, the financial brilliance behind Mayweather, the fight stats. So we could use that and then offer more content to the audience.
All right, thanks.
Hi there. A couple of things. You mentioned analytics, obviously really key. I was wondering what you think the best ways are of, so internally, what kind of things help you know whether something's working? So beyond plays, is it sort of things like average video length? Is it the number who get to complete? What kind of standards do you think we need to educate advertisers about? And the second question is just, do you have a sense in a couple of years' time what proportion of your revenues might come from video? So how big is this opportunity compared with the other things that Telegraph does?
So the first question about the KPIs that we want to report back to the market, it's not necessarily what they're asking for us now, but it's what we want them to be asking. So views is always going to be a part of it, but it's the quality of that view. So a key thing I'm pushing for is retention rate, so the percentage of that video that they get through. So what's better, 1 million people watching 5% of your video, or 100,000 people watching 70% of that video? So I think that's a key stat, the quality of the view. If we're talking about series-type content, so rather than the one-off videos, connected videos, can we give them how many views per visit did that person have? So it wasn't just the one video, but actually they went to a second. The click-throughs to the sites is a metric we do at the moment and can continue to do as well. So I think it's the quality of the view, probably through retention and number of videos watched in that session. And then the second point of percentage of our overall revenue. So this is the beginning of a 3-year plan, and that's just a bit of maths in my head at the moment. I mean, from video, we're looking at probably 5 times increase in revenues and actually delivering a P&L for the video over those 3 years. As part of our overall offering, as a Telegraph Media Group, we've got loads of different businesses. I'm not quite sure how to carve it up. So it's difficult to answer, I'm afraid. But we see this over 3 years, 3-4 years, being a £10 million business.
One more question, if there is one. You've silenced them effectively, Mark. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.